McAllister training. Yes, Reds, we're back. Busy week this week, so we've been on every day. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Red or Alive, also known as Red or Late. But yeah, look, let's quickly dive into it. Mark, you're back again. How are we, lads? Good to see you.
Lads, yous.
Yeah, not too bad. I had an interesting day on WhatsApp groups. I know that, so I'm sure we'll have a laugh along the way. How are we?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. It's hot, but yeah, end of the week, can't complain.
Can't complain, lad.
Oh, no, mate. It's this room, this box room is fucking roasting.
Do you know what, right? Because I'm also just getting a few messages as they come through. So we'll dive into one of the big topics. But before we do, if you haven't already, smash the like and subscribe. Quickly go through some of the comments. Also, if you've got any comments for us, I'll shout throughout the show later on. Get some comments in for us and we'll go through them as well. Because it's hard for me as the show's going on to go through it and go back to them all. So just keep the questions for the end. Because I'll say if anyone's got any questions, fire them across. There's also some on Twitter I'll go through. Yeah, as Lauren said, lots to talk about. As I say, Red or Late. Lauren, what do you think? Lauren, we'll come back to it in a minute. Delwood saying, big up, mighty boys. That's right, lads. Gary's in the house as always. And is Zach. We are good, lads. Smash that people, as you know. Right then, let's go into it. Bit of news coming out here. So I'm going to go with you, Mark, first. Because if I go to Rick, I know what my fucking answer's going to be anyway. I'm just cut to the chase in a minute. But news coming out. Saudi Al Hilal are looking to purchase one of their own from Newcastle. Alexander Isak for a number of 200 million. We've had our own chat discussions, haven't we, leading up to the show today? Obviously, it's been coming out, but okay, now what do you make of it?
So, how is it? A Newcastle trying to wiggle away around PSR and financial fair play by possibly selling them to Saudi, who's a PIF-owned, obviously, league, loan him back for a couple of years. He gets doubles his wages, what he's on now. They pay 50% of it. Yeah. If that's allowed and they look through the rules, then it's something that's a possibility, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly a way. Yeah. Mate, they'll do anything, these Saudis, to fucking make it work. Because ultimately, I think one thing's for sure is, before I go into Rick, they're struggling to get deals over the line, Saudi. So it's obviously got something to do with finances. Because look, you boys know, you aren't stupid. Money is power. And if you've got the money, you can just fucking force a deal through the door anyway. I know it's different when you're talking 100, 150 million and shit like that. But I mean, they're looking at players in the region. I know they looked at Ekitike, but don't think it was as legitimate as people are making out. But if you're looking at the Traffords, the 30 to 50 million pound bracket, if you've got the money, you can just fucking force it straight away. Rick, what's your take on it? I know you're unsure, so you're probably halfway going to fly to Saudi to have a fucking of the Saudi sheikhs.
Yeah, it makes sense, like Mark said, for them to do the money thing to get around PSR, and no doubt the Prem will just roll over for it, like they have in the past. But I don't know. I just don't think there hasn't been a definite journal come out and say that Liverpool for Isak is dead. Ekitike, I see someone tweet earlier that Ekitike is taking longer than expected if it's easy to do. I don't agree with that. It's a big money deal outlay. But yeah, I'm still hanging on to hope that Isak could potentially come to Liverpool. Maybe, who knows, Liverpool will see that he's willing to go to Saudis and Liverpool match whatever bid goes in by the Saudi team. Unless it's the 200 million that I keep seeing about that they're getting for Isak. But who knows? I'm sure we'll hear some stuff over the coming weekend, because I think Frankfurt are playing tomorrow in a friendly but then fly out to America on Tuesday. Obviously, we fly out to Japan on Sunday. So I think there could be some outgoings this weekend, and who knows, Ekitike might get done at the weekend as well.
Yeah, I think, you know what, the more I look at it, I know this comment's quite good. Is it a way of getting Liverpool to up their bid? Maybe not just up the bid, get them to the table. I think the problem that Liverpool have got is they're in a strange position. Just seen a comment there that made me laugh. Come back to it in a minute. But they're in a strange position, Liverpool, where time isn't in their favour, is it, Mark? You think about it with regards to an Isak deal. I don't think it's something that would happen overnight for Liverpool anyway.
As in terms of Isak?
Yeah.
It depends how much, like Rick said, how much have Liverpool left the table in terms of Isak. You know, until we agree a fee with Frankfurt for Ekitike, I don't think any bets are off yet. You know what I mean? I think it's still a possibility. It either, if they're pushing them to go there, it could be, say, if Newcastle are pushing them to go there, is it a possibility that he's turned around and said to Newcastle he likes the idea of going to Liverpool, but he's not willing to force it. So they're thinking, well, we'd rather you go somewhere else in Europe, or basically anywhere near the Premier League. So it's a possibility that they might be looking to do that, and in that return they make money. But I don't know, they've kind of lost out on their first choice striker to us, possibly, isn't it? And I will say something, if we do go for Isak, still, who's to say that we don't go for both? Because we are a player down, obviously, in terms of what Jota left us, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think the problem with that, though, is the age of the two players.
It's very similar, aren't they?
Yeah, I know he's a little bit younger, but you're impacting him. He needs to be playing, doesn't he? You know, let's face it, he's not going to be starting over. Let's say there was a world where Isak and Ekitike came in. Well, we don't even need to talk about who's going to start, do we?
No, that's it, yeah.
You know, it's one of them. Look, there's 74 in the chat. Smash the likes, people. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because it's free. You can hear us chat shit all the time. So, yeah, Rick, question for you then. This is one from Kylie saying he would rather Ekitike Rodrygo than Isak. Like, now I know you're a fan of Isak. I don't know, I keep saying Isak. Fucking Isak. Still a good two, isn't it? But what, I love to play it down.
Yeah, like, listen, Ekitike, we see the data thing yesterday that come out. They're both very similar in what they do. Ekitike's got the build and the physique of Isak. Obviously, Isak's a little bit more complete than Ekitike at the minute, because obviously he's still young and raw. But if we can get the Isak region in through the door now, like Mark's been saying in the WhatsApp group, that in 3 or 4 years' time, he could potentially be better than Isak at that age, which would be a massive bonus for us. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I as much as I want Isak, I do think it's going to be Ekitike. I think that deal's a lot more easier to do and get done quicker. I think Newcastle could drag it out all summer for Isak, really. They could potentially... Yeah. They potentially won't shut the door fully, but it will be more or less closed, and you can't just sit outside waiting for them to open it fully. Why Ekitike? Listen, Ekitike wants to come, so we can't mess around the kid. And for the money that's involved, you can't definitely mess about. So, I think it will be him.
Yeah, I think that is the truth. I think, you know, it remains to be seen what happens. I think they're not shutting the door on Isak because it's pointless. I don't see it happening now, obviously. I think Liverpool will press on with Ekitike. The longer we delay it, then it just fucks things around for our plans. And I firmly believe it. We've had the chat in our group chats. There is no way the club are going to fucking not get this sorted for Arne Slot, because ultimately, I think the club said to him last year, just give us a bit of time to get in the door. Do what you got to do with Darwin Núñez this time round, and I don't think they're going to just keep him dangling. Do you know what I mean? They're going to give him the forward that he needs, and ultimately, like we've just spoke there, he's a young lad. He needs to come in. So this is where we'll roll into, Mark. We'll go into Ekitike. You know, I've seen online people saying it's taking time and all this crap. It's fucking not taking time, Mark, is it?
Which the deal for Ekitike?
Yeah.
No, it took us 3 weeks to get the Verts deal over the line. It's just tough fucking United 2.5 months to go and finally pay 75 mil for Emblema, you know what I mean? It's not taking a long time. I think people are just referring it to because of the international, because of the age it's all coming up. I think people are panicking, but at the end of the day, you know, people are flapping it now, saying, "Oh, what if he plays in the pre-season friendly tomorrow, and he goes to the States?" And then they're thinking, "Oh, it's not any closer." But at the end of the day, until that deal is agreed, you know, there's a lot of complications in it. I think Liverpool know what they have to pay, but they've got to want to pay what they want to pay in terms of instalments and fees and all that. So, yeah, you know what? It only come out yesterday. It's not taking time. It took 3 weeks to get Verts done, and that was a massive deal to try and get him out of there. I think that was a very quick deal. It just felt like it was for
the size of it, Mark. The size of the deal as well.
Yeah, that's it. The size of the deal, the calibre of the player. 3 weeks is absolutely nothing for Verts. So what? It's 36 hours, and people are flapping it already. Get a grip, isn't it? Simple as.
Well, it's true, isn't it? Because ultimately speaking, mate, you know, we're talking in the regions of 70 to 80 million quid for Ekitike. It's as simple as that. People can say all they want about the size of it, but at the end of the day, look, Liverpool are not shutting the door on further signings, and we'll go into a few names in a little while. But ultimately speaking, I would say that's the going rate now, Rick, wouldn't you? About 70, 80 million for a top European striker. Obviously, he's young, a lot to prove. But let's face it, people need to stop fucking chatting shit saying it's a Darwin Núñez type of player. No, it's not. This kid's bought off the back of a load of data, Rick, isn't he?
Yeah, like all our signings now are based on having Edwards back, Hughes. Like this Darwin Núñez comparison is it's just from trolls online, I think, who ain't clearly watched a game of football in their life. But the money's always going to be the money now. I think we're at a stage now in football where there's so much money involved in it.
You're paying 50 million for bank players now, aren't
you're not going to see your 20 millions for Fernando Torres no more when we bought him. You're not going to see that level or type of player move. It's always going to be 60, 70 millions now. And like we said yesterday on the show, that once Liverpool this summer spend what they're up 300-400 million this summer, that'll be them done for the next couple of years. They'll just cherry pick the one player they want maybe every summer in the position they need. But I see Marty's comment, but
I know Marty's a dickhead.
Yeah, Marty, where are you, mate? But
Marty, fucking behave yourself, you dickhead.
turn the golf off and jump on, mate.
You fucking dickhead.
But yeah, no, I expect Ekitike to be a success. I just think it'll be hard not to be a success with Verts, Salah, whoever we get on the left wing. You've got Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, all them players behind you. Listen, if you can't score with them, I know Darwin's proved he can't score with all them behind him, but if you can't score with all them, you might as well call it a day, really, I think.
Yeah, but this is it, Mark. And, you know, this going back to it, look, obviously Liverpool would like to click the fingers and have a signing through the door immediately, but that doesn't happen like that. There's a lot of things that they have to go through with regards to a transfer, Mark, isn't it? I'm sure everything's ready to go on the players' sides. That would have been done over the last couple of weeks because they've had many talks with the reps of the player. But as I say, as Lauren's saying here, there's so much change. Slot wants a big pre-season, especially for the number 9. And that is key. He may not be there early on, but I'm sure he will turn up eventually at Ekitike, won't he?
Yeah. Well, it's just a shame that it's Japan, isn't it? Is where they're actually heading, which is a big flight, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see in a world where if he goes to America, I don't even think it's that far, really. He probably ends up doing his medical and all that in, you know, Japan with the club, because all the doctors are there, aren't they? So I can imagine that it wouldn't stop anything. It wouldn't be, it's going to be completed once they're back from Asia. It'll just be, well, you know what? You know, I'm sure when we were in the States years ago, we gave Loa Khnemi at a medical, didn't we? Yeah, and I'm sure when we were looking to buy Fekir, we allowed him to do his medical with the national team at their training facilities in Clairefontaine. So there's no worry. I think obviously on the player side it's all done, but obviously it's a big sale, isn't it? And it's a big buy.
Still a big buy, and there'll be a lot of stuff.
At the end of the day, it's not small change, you know. I'm not worried about like the time. Then I would like obviously like to see him playing against AC Milan, like, but you know, it's not like he's not getting fitness now. He's not building his fitness up.
He's still playing,
Yeah, he's playing. He's getting his match fitness at Frankfurt, and he's going to be playing games, and he's still doing his pre-season training. It's more worrying if the players like you want to buy that player and they're sitting out, and they've been like they've been completely excluded from the team, and you're like, well, we need them in now because we need to get them match fit for the season. But as I say, it's all good.
As I say, half the time as well, mate, even during pre-season, they're still ready to go, aren't they? Fucking hell, they've only been off a couple of weeks. It's not like they've not played football for about 2 fucking years. But this one, Rick, here, doesn't help the striker market isn't good either. We'll see Sesko go for a similar price. And I think Liverpool will feel like they've got a really good deal with regards to Ekitike. I know it's going to cost around the 70-80 million mark, but I am sure by the time it comes out deal agreed, and Mark, I'm sure you'd agree as well, we'll probably see along the lines of 65 million plus add-ons, won't we?
Yeah. But like what we got with Nunes, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be similar along the lines. Rick, do you think the club? Yeah, as I say, do you think the club would have considered Sesko?
No,
you don't.
I don't rate him as highly as what other people rate him as. He played in the Leipzig squad in the Champions League that didn't finish above 3 points. I don't think.
Yeah.
Again, in the league, in the Bundesliga, he didn't really hit heights in that league. I don't even know who you can compare him with, but I think Ekitike is a bit more of an all-round striker compared to him. I just think he's a bit of a target man, Sesko. I don't think he's that good with the ball at his feet.
Yeah. Where Ekitike is really good with the ball.
Like you've seen him dribble past people.
6'3".
Yeah, 6'3".
5'3" player.
Yeah, like it's gonna sound mad that Ekitike he's got he looks like he's got the ability with the ball at his feet, like similar to Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch was very good on the ball, technically. Ekitike looks to be similar to that, but he's also got the pace that helps him as well. I think he'll be a top sign if we can get it over the line. There'll be no questions about. Like you look at Nunes. Nunes is not very good at football.
He hits the fucking ball from underneath. That's why half the fucking the roof caked in fucking balls, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not very good at
it.
Yeah. He's not very good at football.
Putting them into the roof.
Yes.
The mile fella in the park booze has been getting twatted on the back of the head with a load of balls coming over from the roof. Fucking poor fella. But Rick, with regards to Nunes, we give him a lot of time. So if you think of it now, you know, this kid's going to have a lot of time to bed in with Liverpool. And we spoke yesterday, Rick, he doesn't need to hit the ground running straight away, does he?
No, because you've still got Salah who can bang 30 goals in. You've got Wirtz who I'm sure will hit double digits as well this season in the 10 role. You've got Gakpo who hit double digits last season. Diaz probably goes, so I won't count him. You've got, who else we've got? Szoboszlai that can chip in with a goal here and there and assists. And I'm sure you'll see some goals from Frimpong, the way he plays as well. He's quite attacking fullback. He'll get in them areas where he could potentially score some goals. McAllister, we all know, can hit a ball from outside the penalty area. So I'm not too worried if Ekitike don't come in and hit you for 10 goals in 5 games. Like, I'm not overly worried. You just got to take your time with him. To be fair to Nunes, I think Nunes, there was expectation that he'd come in and bang straight away. There weren't that time where he can adjust to the Premier League. He has to come in now for the money we paid for him at the time. This time with Ekitike, I know it's similar sort of money, but it's the players you got around him. It will allow him that additional time. I still expect Ekitike to get over 10 league goals this season. I just don't see why you can't score over 10 with the players around you. Salah, 20 assists last season, and then you see some of the assists that you could have had where Diaz missed chances, where Nunes missed chances. So if Ekitike can do a bit better than them two and put it in the back of the net, who to say what numbers he can hit?
Yeah, well, this is it. One comment in particular just before, Mark, is this was something obviously that was brought up with regards to the Wirtz deal. There was some money that had to go to Cole. PSG will get the 20% for the fee. Now these things take time, Mark, don't they? It's not as simple as it is, and plus all the lawyers have to go through all the paperwork. But yeah, so he is also saying I think we get him in before the AC Milan game. He'll fly solo in the camp, bit later in the week. I think people are smart, people who follow our show, because they're not stupid like some people see on, social media, because the deal's not done in 5 minutes. They understand things take time. And PSG, why don't you think it worked for him at PSG? Do you think he was just too young?
No. I think the problem was with PSG, which you're not seeing now, is that he was competing against Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. It's a very big list, isn't it? It's a very glamorous 3 players you've got to try and get ahead of. You know what I mean? I think if PSG had had their choice 12 months ago, I think they would have liked to have kept him.
Yeah.
I think he'd be perfect. I think the type of player he is, how good he is on the ball. The best compliments I can give from watching, I've watched him a few times now. I watched him against Spurs, home and away. He was very good at Spurs ground. He was kind of okay at their ground. Watched him there, obviously everyone watches YouTube clips of him and all that. The way he moves, he's the best compliment I can give him. He's like Henry and Trezeguet put together. You know what I mean? He's kind of in between. He's he hasn't got the pace of Henry, but he's got that skill. But then he's got that finishing that Trezeguet has. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know. I think it's
exciting. And like Rick said there, we've got time on our hands with him. There's lots of goals. Isak would have been perfect, but this lad has to come in, and he can buy.
He could be that type of player one day, Mark, couldn't he?
Yeah, I've said this on the group chat to us. I think said Liverpool have got time on hands. I think he's got the potential to be as good as Isak is now, if not better. You never know, do you?
Especially off the back of the data, Mark. These don't get many wrong, do they?
No. People are comparing them to Nunes. And how you can't afford to do a project signing. Hold on a minute. Nunes wasn't bought by Edwards and Hughes. Ward, Fallows, he's gone now. Obviously, you got Barry Hunter. And then they brought in a couple from, I'm sure Hughes brought a few of his boys in from Bournemouth. But now you've got to trust them, mate. And I think if they think they've got a winner there, how many misses have Liverpool ever had under Edwards?
Not many.
Navigator was really more down to the fact that he was never available. The talent was there to be seen. But Liverpool's misses with the cheap deals, weren't they? Karius, I think Karius probably the worst signing we've ever made under them. 4.5 million.
That's the thing, that the misses were so hard to find. But while we're on the topic, obviously we've been joined by someone who is taking the piss in the comments. And there he is now. We've just made a rolling sub, so he's in. Mart, just quickly touching up on it, since you're not taking the piss in the comments.
I can if you want. I've got my phone here.
You can piss right off. Obviously, I'm going to pose the 2 things that I put to the boys previously before you come on. Isak with the Saudi thing, and then obviously people are getting carried away with the delay for Ekitike, but it's technically not long. What you taking it all, and also you're happy with Ekitike because we haven't seen it.
Yeah, so the Saudi Isak stuff, genuinely, fuck knows. I don't know what that's about. That we spoke about earlier, didn't we? And we said the most obvious thing is just blatant money laundering. I don't get how it's even a conversation that a club can sell to another club owned by the same fucking ownership. It's just bizarre. I know the source that's broke it's not the most reliable. Is that the Santi fella, isn't it? From
out though, I was just sent a picture from a friend of ours, and he was off that Twitter page Al Halal stuff. I think he was the one that was talking of the Michael Edwards thing a couple of weeks ago. He's saying Isak's open to the move.
It's just
strange.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, from the only way I can think about it, like I said, is a blatant money laundering thing where he's been told that he's going to be sold there. He's going to go on a fat wedge and he's going to get loaned back to Newcastle. But fuck me, I said to you boys in the group earlier, that happens, I just pack up and finish, because that there is just blatant money laundering at the highest order. But we'll have to wait and see how that one, pans out. It's I'm
hoping money from one count to the other, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm hoping for football's sake that's just bollocks, because that price as well. The St. Maximum one that happened a couple of seasons ago or last season, whenever it was weird enough. But listen, was it like 40 million quid deal, whatever? But You know, we're talking potentially. It would surprise me if they'd done a deal at 200 million quid. I mean, what does that do? It eases all their PSR issues. It puts a load of money in the Newcastle coffers. It's just stinks, doesn't it? I mean,
And it puts a big wedge in Isak's pocket that they can't give him Newcastle.
Well, I've actually read there, you know, as well. There's no particular rule in the Premier League about it, but apparently there's a very strict rule in UEFA about it. So
it's just weird. But we'll have to wait.
Block it. UEFA can block it apparently if that did happen. So
they never do though, do they? They always say that, and they just fucking never do. They get bullied all the time by the clubs. But yeah, wait and see on that. And then on the the Ekitike stuff, yeah. I mean, the only fucker I've seen moaning is that Ollie twat. I mean, I think everyone knows him. He's a fucking idiot. Everyone else seems to be pretty level-headed. I mean,
hashtag paired in the bio.
Oh, fucking absolute twat with his little beer belly. But no, listen, it's not taking long at all. They've obviously had Ekitike on the radar for a while, haven't they? They've obviously wanted to see how Isak plays out. They've tried it. Whatever happened with that, they've obviously decided now is the time they've got to go for it. It'll be done within the next couple of days. That don't think that'll be held up. I think listen, I think he's a great signing. I think we've spoken on a few pods about the number 9 market. It's not great, is it? I mean, Isak's the pinnacle. He's the main guy. But I mean, if you're looking for the next best thing, Liverpool are signing it. You know, the frame, the way he plays. There's a reason Newcastle have had him on the radar. They're obviously, they've obviously targeted that kind of number 9, the tall. I heard like Mark saying he's like a Trezeguet kind of finisher. I can see that as well. He's obviously in the same mold as Isak. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to become Isak or better than Isak. We don't know. But I mean, he's going to be at the best fucking club to do it.
With a manager that that really is good on the training field, very active on the training pitch, Arnie Slot, especially when you watch the videos, you can hear him shouting non-stop. Like Gary's saying here, when you see Núñez finishing at Benfica, it was calm, composed, and had a range of ways to score. The weight of the shirt and comparisons to Haaland were too much for him. The one thing as well, I think by the Ekitike, he looks like a bit of an ego. You know what I mean? I think he'll take it upon himself to be a big hit at Liverpool. I can't get over how tall he is as well. He's fucking massive, isn't he?
6'3", isn't he?
6'3", fucking hell. And do you know what? And that's perfect. Like Ross said here, 6'3" with silky feet. This is going to be a big thing for Florian Wirtz as well, because he's used to a big type of target, man. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a big
need height as well. We need height. We've got lovely footballers, but I think the one thing outside of Van Dijk and Konate, Gakpo obviously was a bit in and out because of injuries last season. The one thing we lacked was height. So I think getting that in there is going to be massive. I think we'll play a lot more. I think you'll see a lot more crosses coming in from Liverpool this year.
Well, that especially with Kerkez on the pitch, mate. He's got a great left foot.
I think so. Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of crossing into him. But I think he looks great. I'm excited to see him.
This is it with that type of player, because obviously people could say they've watched them a lot all they want. They probably haven't. Do you know what I mean? They've probably watched a few clips and possibly the Spurs game. You know what I mean? I'd imagine a lot of Liverpool fans watched the Spurs game. But someone's saying here, Isak is a mix of Isaac and Alvarez. We've got the best of both worlds. Look, it remains to be seen. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, one thing's for sure, he's got quality. His data shows well. I'd heard about that a couple of weeks ago from a good mate of mine. So, look, whatever the club want, you've got to trust them. They're not stupid, are they? So, there's one thing which I'm going to come to you then, Mark. Luis Diaz looks like he's on the verge, or close to being on the verge of a move to Bayern Munich. Do you see this one going through? Because then, obviously, after this topic, we'll go into who we think we will sign. But can you see it going ahead?
Yeah, I think Bayern know where our stance. We told them last week, didn't we? Uncertain terms, we're not selling, which basically means we've got a valuation. You don't need it. We're not selling them. Yeah. So I can see them getting close to our valuation. And I think with now Diaz pushing on his side, I think Liverpool will probably accept it. Bearing in mind that it still has to be, obviously there's going to be add-ons in it. So it's got to be add-ons that are achievable, that Liverpool think, yeah, we're going to get the full money for them. Because I'm sure if Liverpool do go for Rodrygo, I'm sure that Real Madrid will want something similar, when add-ons for them. So they've both got to match up, haven't they? I think every bit of penny that we get off the fucking Diaz is going to go into that winger, whether it be Anthony Gordon, whether it be, as Andy wants, Eze. or Rodrygo, you know. But I do think it gets done, and I think they know now. I think there's obviously been discussions. There's been discussions happening behind the scenes, and I think Bayern know now what it takes to get him out there, and it's easy now for them that they've agreed terms with him. So I can see this. I can see this happening at some point next week. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets pulled from the tour in the next couple of days if it progresses a lot more than what it is today.
Yeah, no, I massively agree. Rick, with regards to Luis Diaz, I know you like the player. I really like the player. It will be a shame to see him go. Are you slightly disappointed the fact that he's pushing for the move away from Liverpool when it looks like it's really going to get serious at the club?
Yeah, I mean,
some big trophies upcoming, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to leave Liverpool at the minute? I'm not buying this that he's very underpaid. I mean, Paul Goss from the Echo said that he's on about 140. So if you're complaining about being on 140, I think you need to give your head a wobble as a footballer anyway.
He's getting 280 though, isn't he? So it is. That's
yeah.
A lot of money, isn't it?
I get that in the respect that Bayern Munich are going to offer him that, but the way he's gone about leaving Liverpool, I think it's a fucking joke. Who was the last one to do it? Coutinho, maybe. I don't think we've had someone since then kick up a little bit of a fuss like Diaz has been doing. I also think it's a bit disrespectful for what the club have done for him and his family situation that happened with his dad. And then to shit on us like he has, while the Jota thing's been going on as well, while the team have been mourning that as well. The TikTok videos in Colombia, the transfer requests, if you want to call it that, I just think fucking get rid of him now. Take the money off Bayern Munich, get close to what you value him at, and fuck him off the door. I wouldn't even put a post out saying good luck in your future. I'd be like, fuck off, mate, on your way.
Liverpool say fuck off to Luis Diaz. Breaking news. Fucking hell. Just while we were on the thing, because obviously there seems to be a sweet spot for 6 and 7 March, we've noticed, isn't it, with regards to news coming out. But from a good friend of ours at Anfield sector, just before I talk to you with regards to Diaz, it's coming out, you know that Mark McAdam from Sky Sports?
Yeah.
They are not close yet for Hugo Ekitike, but the talks are discussing Liverpool are discussing a £75 million package. Talks progressing well. Ekitike is a deal that they can do regardless of who stays and who leaves, which kind of, beds into something we've been talking about recently. Liverpool have got some serious cash, haven't they? And obviously, Luis Diaz funds looks like it's just going to add on top. Can you see the Diaz deal happening? And who do you think Liverpool bring in after it?
I think it has to. I think it has to happen at this point. I think, the one thing I always liked about what Jurgen Klopp did is, his mentality of, look, you need to be on the wagon pushing with us. And he only wanted players that wanted to be at the football club. And listen, I think, you see the news quite saying so-and-so is asked to leave the football club. I think your instant reaction is, oh, fucking hell, transfer request. He's got every right to ask to move on. Listen, we can have the conversation about the timing. I know obviously when it's come out is close to the Jota stuff, but if Liverpool, Liverpool have been very vocal about the fact they're not going to offer Luis Diaz a new contract. He's 28 years old. This is going to be his prime time to cash in on his value. And, if he was doing, if he was being offered a new deal and he was kicking up a stink and he's doing a Coutinho, I get it. But listen, we've all seen the reports that they ain't going to offer him a new deal. Bayern Munich could put 280 grand a week on the table for him and a longer term deal. I think he's well within his right to ask the club to consider offers. Look, we may see a little bit more of a turn from him if Liverpool continue to decline offers. Maybe he will start to, put his foot down a little bit on that. But I just think Liverpool have got to look at it and go, okay, look, there are options there to replace him. We've got the money. The players obviously want to come to Liverpool. I know the Rodrygo one I'll talk about in a second. He wants to go. I mean, Bayern aren't a million miles off of the offer. Listen, I think the initial one at mid-50s is probably a little bit too low, but I think they'll probably get up towards 70. I think that's fair. I just don't think we need to dig our heels on it for no reason. So we'll see what Bayern come back with, whether they try and take the mick with the offer. Second offer might piss Liverpool off, I don't know. But I think he's also had a Saudi contract dangled in front of him as well. we know the money they're paying. I mean, you look at that Vinny Jr. I mean, fucking hell, it's ridiculous. So he's probably been offered a good one there. Yeah. But with regards to replacement, I mean, yeah, pretty much what Kyle has said. I think, listen, I'm not in the know, but obviously we've got some people that do hear bits and pieces, and a couple of people that we trust have obviously said that, Rodrygo is very much, of interest to Liverpool. The talk is that they've hired that Penny Zahavi to initiate talks. I don't know if that's true, but he's definitely a target for Liverpool. But I still think he's making up his mind on his future. I don't think it's definitive that he's leaving Real Madrid yet. And even if he does, we don't know if he's from Brazil. We don't know if he's going to want to come to the UK. So I think there's still some parts to move around on that one. But definitely Rodrygo, I think, is Liverpool's number one target, closely followed by Anthony Gordon. But again, I mean, that will have its own issues. They're not going to. We don't know the relationship with Liverpool and Newcastle. It seems to have rubbed Piff up the wrong way that Liverpool have approached them, but we don't know. It's just kind of social media talk. But I think if Liverpool can avoid negotiating with Newcastle again, I think they will. I don't think they really want to go back in there, because I also think there's still half a chance that Liverpool are looking at the Isak thing. And I think if you start trying to pull two of their strikers out, it kills it. So I think for me, I think Rodrygo will be the replacement.
Yeah. Now, that's something, obviously, I've heard over the last couple of weeks. We've spoken about in our group, Rodrygo. It's amazing that he seems to be the number one choice. Anthony Gordon is an interesting one, because the club absolutely love Anthony Gordon. Obviously, he must show high on the stats. But also the fact is, I think with what's happened recently, I think Mark's right, Mark. Liverpool and Newcastle, doesn't look like anything will happen to them, between them clubs, anytime soon, does it? Now, those are the two players we were just speaking off air, Mark. Anthony Gordon's more along the lines of ball over the top, quick. Do you know what I mean? Rodrygo, his quality with the ball at his feet, and that could do Liverpool. You can kind of understand it why he may be the top target, because obviously Liverpool come up against a lot of low blocks, Mark, don't they? We know that 90% of the teams that play against us, they're packed in the box. Can you see why he would be Liverpool's top choice then for the left wing?
Yeah, I can, because Liverpool are a possession-based football team, aren't they?
Or Rio.
And yeah. What do you say?
Or Rio.
Don't get on that one. No, also going back to, yeah.
As I think, Mark.
Regarding Liverpool are a possession-based football team, aren't we? We're going to have a lot of the ball. How many times are we going to have the ball and have that option where we can throw it over to Gordon over the top, like you said? Very little. 90% of the time when we're playing against teams, we're going to have a lot of the ball.
Ricky, you in the airport, lads?
Well, mate, fucking. I wonder if the geezer will get me window, mate. Isak, it is. Nah, it's fucking the airport, man. Isak's flying over, isn't he, for a medical.
Rick's at John Lennon for some reason.
He's fucking coming in on a parachute through Rick's fucking window to announce him on live.
The noise around here, mate.
Yeah.
What was you saying, Mike? Before we're interrupted by fucking Isak coming through Rick's.
No, regarding Rodrygo, I think Rodrygo's the better choice because he's the better footballer. That's, it's not hard to see that Rodrygo is a better player. Gordon is a good option. We spoke off air, didn't we, before we come on to live, and we were basically saying that in the ideal world, I think Liverpool would have got Gordon in last summer, and then obviously possibly now get Rodrygo in. And then obviously we got Wirtz and things changed and all that. And we were talking about Kvaratskhelia as well. And you said that Wirtz was possibly more of Kvaratskhelia was probably the first choice. Well, not to say first choice to Wirtz.
Someone who loved it, wasn't it?
But it was something that you see the comparisons between them two players, don't you? The way they carry the ball and the way they play.
It really is interesting. With regards to Rodrygo and Gordon, though, Rick, who is also your favourite pick? Because I know we've spoken this many times. You do like the idea of Gordon, but Rodrygo, is it someone you like?
Yeah, I love Gordon. I think his ceiling's quite high, but I just think Rodrygo is the one in it. He's the bigger name. He's played at a higher level than Gordon for Real Madrid. Won Champions Leagues, won La Ligas. Someone we looked at before he went Real Madrid. Obviously, wanted to complete his studies before he moved, and then Real Madrid swooped him because he's Brazilian, South American. They love it. But yeah, I'd 100% go for Rodrygo. He's the one for me, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the thing, though, isn't it? I think obviously at the minute, the club will be working out whether he is going to leave. I can't imagine him to hang around too long. I think it's a decision that he'll probably have to take very quick because obviously clubs are making their moves now. Marty, are you all right?
Mark's making me laugh. I don't know what he's laughing at, but look how red he's gone. Right, red, he's making me laugh.
It's a good job I can fucking look elsewhere around the room. You fucking put me off all the time.
I'm looking at Marty, and Marty's looking at me, and I'm thinking, he's like,
how the fuck do you know he's looking at you? What the fuck's going on here? No, I think the club will find out very soon whether he's leaving or not. I don't know why Alonso doesn't fancy him, Mark, do you? Because I can't understand why he didn't play in the Club World Cup.
Really? He's always had that kind of like reputation in Real Madrid, though, isn't he? Like, just not. We spoke the other day, didn't we, about it? And we were saying a big part of playing for Real Madrid is you seem to have like a presence about you. But like, you look at the players they've got. Vinny Jr. I mean, he's released a documentary. You've got Mbappe that we know about. You've got Jude Bellingham. Obviously, Trent now going there. There seems to be. He's kind of like half and half celebrity footballer, and I think
just full of dickheads, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like you have to have a brand to play from. It's just strange. I don't know. I mean, especially when you look at that right hand side. I know he wants to play off the left, but they got that fucking knobhead Vinny there, so it's not gonna happen for him on the left. So he's played off the right. You look at kind of who they've had off the right hand side. I mean, they were shorting Fede Valverde in there at one point, who he's not a right winger, is he? And he was getting fat, and that was under Ancelotti. And then, I mean, Alonso's come in, and he's obviously not even got a sniff in that Club World Cup, which is just.
Didn't bring him on in the semi-final, did he? When you need, beat 3-0. That's bizarre.
That alone is why he will go. He's not going to fucking stay with him.
Right.
He has to. I can't. I get it. Obviously he's a South American lad. He desperately wants it to work at Real Madrid, but he's just fucking not. He's got the thing is as well that could work for Liverpool is it's a World Cup year, so you will get players that are on the periphery of teams that will look at it and go, fuck me, I can't risk it. I need to go somewhere. I'm going to play football, and I think that could work in Liverpool's favour. Is that he's got to think about that. But it is strange.
Wouldn't it? Liverpool get Rodrygo, and I can just see them getting fucking Real Madrid the next season. Can you?
Oh God, yeah, because it'd be Rodrygo up against Trent.
Yeah, Trent's a big fucked.
Yeah, that'd be fine. It was written in the start. I mean, we'll get Real Madrid anyway because that fucking knob's gone.
Every year we get them, don't we? Near enough.
Yeah, and it's got to be at Anfield as well. But yeah, I genuinely, mate, I can't give you an answer why I don't fancy him. I don't know. I really, really don't know. He seems to do well whenever he does play. I don't know. I mean, answers that Winston one, I could say that we've got Salah. So
I'll tell you why Rodrygo doesn't play, Marty, because you've got £1 million a week man playing there. You've got to play him. Mbappe, got to play him. That's just the way it is. He's only on about what £200,000 a week of that. As it stands, He's in the. You've got end
the right though, haven't you? Like, who do they play on the right at the moment? I can't even think.
Gula, isn't it?
But he's been playing in the middle, hasn't he? He's been changing his tactics, hasn't he, Alonso? He's been going 3-4-3 and then 4-2-1-3-1.
I think he's going to get found out in Real Madrid, Alonso.
Yeah. He hasn't got the plays to play his way. That's the problem.
No.
And they're not going to. He's not signing the plays. I'm sure he had an influence at Leverkusen where he was allowed to buy a certain type of player for a certain type of position, how he wants to play it. He's getting told, we're buying the players and you're just going to have to fit them in some way. That's why I'm surprised that in some games in the Club World Cup, he was playing 4-3-3. That's not his way.
No, it's
getting forced to because of the players he's got. He's got to make players work.
That comment from Laurent there as well, Ben. Like, not that one, the one above it. Sorry, none of the attackers track back. That will fuck Alonso because I watched that Vinny Jr. I know you talk about older players, don't you? Like Messi and Salah's gone into that bracket, but they're in their 30s at this point. So you're going to look, you know what? Track back when you can, but just do your bit up there. That Vinny Jr. I watch him and You know what? Mbappe gets a lot of stick, right? And I know sometimes it's warranted, but he gets back. That fucker there doesn't at all. That'll kill Alonso.
Yeah, I don't know what Winston's talking about here. You guys are hipsters fans with very little methodology towards squad building. I personally believe that the Rodrygo signing for me is a long-term Salah replacement. I think he sees him potentially taking over that right-hand side, in my opinion. He's played there a lot, hasn't he, for Real Madrid at times, Rodrygo. Yeah. And I think you'll see that if we get it over the line, which I'm hoping we do, because I think for one, it makes Arsenal look stupid as well. Yeah. Supposedly he's turned Arsenal down, hence why they probably pushed ahead with Madrid, which for me is a strange old fucking signing. Good player, but I don't think he moves the needle. But I think in AFCON, you could definitely see a front line three of Gakpo, Ekitike and Rodrygo while Salah's not there. And I don't think Liverpool lose any quality there, Rick, do you?
No, I mean, Rodrygo is a top quality player. If people that don't think he's that level, I don't know what you've been watching. I think he comes in for the short term as a left winger option, him and Gakpo. Listen, there's no point getting a backup to Mo Salah. When Mo Salah don't want to not play any minutes. So who's going to come in to be a backup to Mo Salah and sit on the bench and never play? Because Frimpong is the option for Salah, but Salah, you see the way Salah reacts when he gets taken off, let alone tell him he's not going to start a game. Fucking hell. There'd be war there. But yeah, I think he'll come in to be an option for the left, and then when Salah goes for AFCON, that's when you'll see, if we do get Rodrygo, that's when you see him go over there and play that side.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You know, look, there's 94 in the chat. If you haven't already, smashed the like. It does help with the algorithm. Luke does our job for us. He's like the fucking, it's like the CEO.
He's a monster, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the man of the pod.
He's going to have to be the. He needs to be the admin for us, doesn't he?
Yeah, I can make him a mod. It's fine.
Yeah, Rick will sort you out, lads. You can be the kingpin then. Take charge of all the stuff. Lawrence saying here, he's way more effective left wing, Salah replacement, but different side. This is it. Look, if you're a good forward player, you can play in any role. I think that Mark McAdams just said that with regards to Ekitike. Said one of the factors that Arne Slot loves about him is that he can play a few positions, and this is the situation it is now. You can't just be limited to one position in this Liverpool side, Mark, can you?
No, definitely can't.
Yeah.
It's I think Klopp hit on it a few times, and he players to play in various positions, didn't he? It helped in terms of, James Milner, right back, left back, centre mid, right wing, left wing, you play anywhere, wouldn't he? To the extent of that, Slot. I was interested, I seen something about what Slot said the other day. He said 3 things that he likes in a player, and one of them was versatility. And the other ones that he said were good turn and good on the ball, quick turn, but he did say one of them, and he said obviously the other one was trying hard, but the big main one was a player who can play in a few positions, who are flexible, and that's why I think he's gone for Vert as well, because where he can play across the front 3, false 9, anywhere. You've got options. And going back to what you were saying about Salah there, I think Liverpool have low key. If they get Rodrygo, Liverpool have kind of low-key. This is how good Salah is. They kind of replaced Salah already with Ekitike, Vert and Rodrygo. When there are goals and assists from Vert, there's a goal scorer there. They're doing it on the low-key because you're not going to replace Salah. You're not going to find a right winger in world football. Once he's gone, who's going to do what Salah does? He's a fucking freak of nature. And same goes for Van Dijk. You're not replacing them. The one-offs. They are like one-offs. They're like your Messi's. You never see them again. They come and go, and that's it.
This is it. It's there. You've got to replace Salah. You have to do it over across a number of positions. You've got to get goals and assists from all over the place, and it's something we spoke about for a long time. Like Gary's saying, it. Look at that for 4 players that could be in the Liverpool front line very soon, Matt.
Yeah, and I think just from the first season of Slot as well. See how many different formations and ways he plays.
He does the games immediately, doesn't he, when he starts?
Yeah, and I know it wasn't pleasant to watch at times, but you think like the Chelsea at home one. He was happy to let Chelsea come on to Liverpool. He'd seen they packed the midfield out, and he set up to let them come on and hit them on the break. He will do that. You saw City away, he goes 4-2-4. He'll play a 4-3-3. He plays 4-1-2-3. Like he's so versatile tactically. It's scary, but you're going to need. You can't have that many players just to play one specific position. He's going to need. You go to City away and you play a 4-2-4 again. He's going to need somebody to know how to play that role, and then he's going to need them to be able to play as a focal point, and he's going to need them to play in a front three. And that's why you're going to see, players like Wirtz, players like Rodrygo, players like Ekitike, because they are just fluid. But I think, it's a serious attacking unit that Liverpool are going to put together. We saw this, it's just ridiculous.
Because you've got fucking McAllister and Gravenberch behind them.
Yeah, and what we've ended up doing by bringing Wirtz in, you end up almost creating a new midfielder in Szoboszlai as well, because Szoboszlai obviously operated that 10 position. It was like an 8-10 position, didn't it? Whereas now he's going to be deeper, and you're going to see him being able to use a lot more running, because Wirtz will occupy, and probably Rodrygo at times as well, that higher up area of the pitch. So you kind of inadvertently ended up opening up a different position for a player that's already there as well. I don't understand Winston. I really don't understand what point you're trying to get at, mate, with this one. You've said about squad building, but then you don't want to get another left winger, but you want another right winger. I'm confused.
Yeah. He needs to get back in Ghostbusters lab and fucking have a cigar or something. Fucking Winston. Fucking hell.
I don't know what he's going on about. But I think what you'll see as well, Ben, sorry, just before I pass back to you, is I think what you'll see as well with these, as well as being able to play multiple positions, you're going to see attackers that work their absolute bollocks off as well.
Mark's causing fucking mate. He's only just come in. He's causing fucking murder already.
Yeah, he's calling him mayhem, isn't he?
But look, this is the thing that we talked about earlier, which we wanted to do, because I know see a lot in the comments. Some people say, you get podcast on or YouTube channels, should I say, don't go back to the people watching the show, because ultimately, like the fans of a football club, the watchers is what the show's about, isn't it? So without them, it's fucking shite. Before I go, so if you've got some questions, fire them in now for the lads, and we'll go around the room and asking the questions before we wrap it up. There's some that I took off Twitter before, so I just want to go through them first. Rick, I'll put this one to you. First question to you. What time is Isak starting? Nah, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. So this one's from Danielle, who follows us on Twitter. She said, do you think Liverpool will go in for Hato?
Next summer.
Okay.
Not this summer. No need.
Okay. Mark, I've got a question for you here from no other than Adam Darnell. Winston's, I don't know who's rattled at all, Winston, lad.
Winston, the point is, Winston, you're not making any sense. You said you were not looking at squad building, but then you're asking for a right winger, but you only want one left winger. We're asking what you're going on about. Sorry, lads, carry on.
Go on, Mark, here's one for you from Adam. Does Dom get into the starting 11?
No. No. Simple as.
If anyone didn't know, this was an argument that fucking took about 5 hours in our group chat between Andy, me, Adam, and Mark with regards to Szoboszlai. Has he been improved upon with regards to Florian Wirtz, Mark? And obviously, could you see him starting in the 11? Not just using it with regards to the Bournemouth game, but he's got to have a big season, hasn't he, Tom?
Yeah, there's a few players that I think have got to have big seasons, because I think after we won the league, we had 5 games left. 4 or 5, was it?
Yeah.
He experimented a little bit, didn't he? And he changed it up. He put Szoboszlai deeper against Brighton. I think Curtis Jones started every game. I think because McAllister wasn't right, so he was completely told he was pulled from the team then, so he could get fit again. I don't think Curtis Jones covered himself in a lot of glory in them 4 games. I think Szoboszlai had a decent game against Brighton, although we got beat, but it didn't really matter anyway because we were the champs. But yeah, I think there's a few players in there that I'd say that I've got a big season coming up. And regards to when you asked me about Szoboszlai, he doesn't get in our best 11. If you put your best 11 out now, it's a question that you'd ask when it comes to the end of the summer once the transfer window shuts and you've got your players. But as it stands right now, if I was writing my best 11 out on a piece of paper, he's not in it. But no doubt about it, he's going to be a good squad player because he's got qualities that players don't have.
But this is a quality comment from Damien. He says, depending on the game, his legs are vital to Mo in certain situations.
Yeah, of course, not many players have got that engine. You know, he's got
a quality in itself, isn't it?
He never uses. He's got a great right foot. He never uses it enough. And I think I said to you on before on the group chat about that. Szoboszlai, he's got very good late runs. You know, look at the goals that he scores. You know, coming into the box late. Fair to have a field. Salah will. You know, Kirk has. He will get a few goals and assists. He's going to be a vital part of the squad, but he's not going to be on my guaranteed 11. Obviously, Slot might have different things, but that's just my opinion. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, there's 90 in the chat. Smash the likes, people, because it helps with the algorithm for the channel. But also, Mart, I've got a question for you. This one's from Joe Martin off Twitter. I am going to go through the comments in the comment section in a minute, so just bear with me. If you've got any more, fire them in for us. So Joe Martin said, is a DM or I don't know what that means. Is a DM on our plans for this transfer window? We still lack a DM since the departure of Fabinho. Wheater is there to be a poach. God knows what that means. Likewise, Belabor or Stiller. And I know there was a comment in the. I'm going to link it with the comments here from Delwyn, Wharton or Angelo Stiller. What's your thoughts?
But it was basically the question: are we going to get a DM?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Look, they've. I think Gravenberch is, whether people agree with it or not, has scuppered those plans. You know, listen, he's not the perfect DM because he's not a natural number 6. I think they'll probably be working with him over the next couple of years to see how he progresses. You can see he's still got the characteristics of an 8 because he does vacate sometimes and leave us a little bit open at the back. So, I mean, we'll have to see how this season goes. We won't get one this year. We won't get one this year. No chance. Again, I don't even know if we're going to play with a traditional 6 with how he's setting up. It would seem more like a double pivot of Graben McAllister. So I don't see it. The question, Wharton or Stiller, both brilliant. I think Wharton, for me, if we're going to get another midfielder, I think he's amazing. He's an absolutely brilliant player. Yeah. I think he'd be perfect for Liverpool. But listen, Stiller's a top player as well. Really, really good.
He's that Zubi style player, Mart, isn't he? Stiller, who controls the game.
Yeah, I think Wharton would be. Wharton would sit more than Stiller. I think Stiller would be more inclined to get forward a bit more. But I mean, they're both phenomenal players. I mean, if you got either of them, you'd be absolutely laughing. But for me personally, I'd go Wharton.
Yeah. 100%.
No, I agree.
You know my thoughts on him on the group chat. I absolutely love that lad. He showed a different side of himself, didn't he, against Man City in the FA Cup final? He sat in and done a job.
You can do both.
I've just follow on to what Marty said there. That's where the Szoboszlai and the Curtis Jones, that's quite important for next season. Because if they do play in that 6 role next to Gravenberch and McAllister, whatever he got decided to go with on that game day, if they're not hitting the heights that he wants, you've seen how ruthless he is. I wouldn't be surprised that if one of them gets cashed in and he goes and pulls the trigger on a proper 6 eventually. But for this summer, we've got too many other things going on. We've got other areas to strengthen first. We needed a striker just as much as we needed a DM.
There's probably a couple of DM targets the club like, but they probably need a bit more data on it, so they'll probably give him another year.
Yeah,
and I think Stiller, Belabor, Wharton.
So we need to see how he has a full proper season. He's only had half a season when he joined Palace from January, and then he was injured for pretty much most of it until the end. But he showed his quality again, so I think they need to see a good year of him.
Yeah. And that's understandable. That is understandable. Yeah, then I'm going to put this one to you, Rick. Question for you from Luke, who's the boss. Alisson has been in training recently. Have you guys noticed anything about it? Rick, have you noticed anything with regards to Alisson?
No, I see him in training. Was it this morning's pictures or whenever it was raining in Liverpool? I see him. Yeah, he was on the pitch as well because it was raining. He had his gloves and looked like he'd been diving around in the mud. So I think he's all right. Obviously, Ali's quite a religious guy, so obviously the Jota news, some people react different. But yeah, no, I've seen him in training. Didn't he have like a little operation recently as well on an issue? I read somewhere.
I have a fucking clue, lad. I'm not too sure on that front. But I think Ali looks all right. I know he has been, jumping around in training. But Damien's one here. I think we've just answered that. I think the backups to grab is you've obviously got Enzo, Szoboszlai, and Jones in there. I'm just seeing what other comments. Marty, this one for you. Should Dan's go on loan or stay around the squad?
No, he's got to go on loan. He's got to go on loan. I think he got the litmus test in the Champions League last year, didn't he? He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And I think obviously the club did send him on loan. And unfortunately, just one of the really shit things for the kids is when they get an injury at a pivotal time. So he has to play games. And he's not going to get, you got Ekitike. We've just spoken about the front line, right? Ekitike, Gakpo, Rodrygo, Salah. The kid's not going to get games. So he's got to go somewhere. But they've got to go somewhere that he's going to play. He cannot be sat there wasting 2, 3, 4 months on the bench. So paramount they get him a good loan.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this one up from Faraz. So do you think we haven't closed the Isak news down because we wanted to try and negotiate with Frankfurt? And closing the Isak news means Frankfurt have all the power with one target. Now, I don't think it's got anything to do with that. Personally, myself, mate, I think they haven't shut the Isak news down. Isak news, should I say, down, because I think if anything could ever happen, they'd always consider it. Why wouldn't you? For me, I think he's probably the best. Him, Alvarez, and Haaland are the best number 9s in world football, aren't they? I think we could all agree on that. With regards to Frankfurt, look, Liverpool don't need to keep a name out there for the sake of it. They know they've said it for a long time. We're not just going to give them away for cheap. Neither should they. They've lost Omar Marmoush for 70-odd million to City, and this was their main one that they wanted to keep. Do you know what I mean? And
he's got a sell-on clause as well.
Sell-on clause. So obviously, for them to get a good package, Liverpool have to pay top whack. And look, there'll be a lot of things that they're going through. We know the add-ons in particular with regards to football, just off the Florian Wirtz deal. It takes a little bit of time, but I think you'll see him within the next week. I'd be surprised if he's not a Liverpool player, because ultimately Arne Slot wants to, to get him in the training, involved with all the lads. I'm just going through here now. I think we've answered this one with regards to backup. I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to put this one to you, Rick. But Chetic, I know I'm just going to blend in on this. But Chetic, do you think he'd be sold or loaned out?
Sold, I think. If we could get 15 mil for him, I think they'll take it. He's obviously got some talent there, but he's a prong cracker, really. We can't have another one of them in midfield. Our midfield's expected to do a lot of running, and you can't have someone that can't stay fit. But again, I think it was wrong time for him coming through. I think we see the quality when Klopp was here in that midfield. I don't know what he is. Is he a 6 or an 8? So he can play either end. And obviously he went on loan last season. I think his chance would have been this pre-season, but obviously he had a hamstring operation, and I think that's finished him, I think, at the club.
Mart, who takes the free kicks at Liverpool? This is one from Paul J. Cheers for putting in the message. Who takes the free kicks for the Reds next season?
Good question.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I think Salah will try and take some. I don't for everything he does great. I hate Salah on free kicks, but I think he will take a few. I think Wirtz possibly will, and I think you probably see Van Dijk as well potentially take a couple.
Macca's a shout as well, Mark.
Yeah, I think there won't. I don't think there will be. I think Wirtz will be the most designated set piece taker.
Darwin.
Canate.
I think that probably Szoboszlai could be one of the best.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think there's going to be so much movement in that team over the season that there isn't going to be one. I think if I had to pick one that will take most over the course of the season, I think it would be Wirtz. But I think yes. Fucking hell. I think if Szoboszlai's on the pitch, he could take them. I think you're going to have Salah if Wirtz. I think it's just going to be just rotation across the board with everything. But I'd be interested in who's going to actually take corners as well from the right hand side, because obviously Kerkez I think will take from the left.
It'd be Macca and Kerkez, I'd say,
on both sides. Wouldn't surprise me because you're not going to take Wirtz away from the edge of the area and take him off. He's a waste. Same with, well, you might put Mac on him. I don't know, but that'll be
took a lot last year, though, didn't he?
Maka did, yeah.
Yeah, Trent got ragged often, didn't he?
Yeah, he was shy.
He was fucking. I don't think I've seen a decent free kick from Trent for a good while.
No, he kept taking the first man as well.
He started dipping, other than his attitude. His free kicks as well, wasn't it? They weren't great. They weren't the best. His corners weren't. Never beat the first man, or you go over the last man.
And his burner account, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mark, this one is for you, lads. You lads reckon Rio gets some minutes this season? So anyone who don't know, it's been a fucking back and forth within our group with the lads on the pod. Andy loves Rio, but I mean, fucking hell, this has been a discussion for about 5 hours. I'm bored of hearing about it. Not bored of your question, Ben, but I mean, just this topic, lads. Mark, go on, give us the answer anyway. Fucking hell.
You know, I always say, player like of his age, he needs to play a few games, don't he? I can see him playing cup games, you know, early, like the league tie, you know, League Cup, FA Cup. You know, if you're in the tail ends of the Champions League and you're already through, there's no harm in putting him in that because he's a free hit, isn't he? He doesn't have to be registered because he's a youth player. If he needs minutes and he needs to be playing against players of a proper decent professional level, why not send them on loan?
Yeah. Build
up his physicality and his strength. I know Andy now will be going absolutely crazy, smashing all the plates and cyclists, but no, but the honest truth is, you know, he looks great on the ball. You know, he's got the potential to go to go all the way, but he's still got a lot to learn as well. So I don't know, it's a tough one. What do you think? I'm going to put that question back to you, Ben.
I think this is it. Gary's hit it on its head. I think the FA Cup and League Cup is where he gets his minutes. Look, ultimately, he's a young kid. He shouldn't be forced in straight away. Let him develop and not put the pressure on him. We've seen what happens with pressure. Just want to say, shout out to Chrism there. Hopefully, I can't see properly because I've got my phone. Chrism Mark. But look, thanks very much for the like and subscribe. If anyone's watching as well, if you haven't done it, make sure you do it. But look, I think with regards to Rio, FA Cup and League Cup is where it'll be for him. Let him develop. Look, by the end of the season, we may need him more. You never know. There could be some injuries and what have you.
That could be perfect by that time. He could be coming into his own. You know, an injury to Gakpo. Because push him in. Chiesa, that's another one. You never know, do you? You just don't know what the scene develops. But if I'm talking now, I've heard a few people saying, you know, Jib buying a left winger to put him in. He's not ready. The gap is too big for Cody Gakpo. He's 16, Gakpo's 26. You need someone in between that. You need the 22 to 24-year-old. You can't do it. It's not fair.
If Gakpo got injured and he took that first place spot and he wasn't ready, as we look at Dan's when he played in the Champions League. I mean, he was not ready. And it's not, it's not to say they ain't going to be good enough. It's not to say they ain't good players. It's just that step up is just a completely different level to play in the academy.
It's the game, it's the mental game and everything.
You can't put that on a kid. See, he's one. If someone asked earlier if Dan's would go on loan. See, I think Nione and Rio are the two where you would look at it. They're the ones where you'd scratch your head and go, do you keep them around another year? Do you go and get them football and see how they react to it? They're the ones for me that I'd scratch my head. Because I'm like, let's not get it twisted. Those two boys are serious talents. We're not talking about, just a good academy. These are serious talents.
Brilliant. They're brilliant kids. Some of the best in the country, easily. But
do you loan them at this point? Or is it even that too early? Because 16. If you think about what you were doing when you're 16, like mentally, like Mark said, mental guy, like it's so tough. But then I know we'd had that laugh, about the Yamal, but Yamal at 16 was playing at the top level.
The thing is as well, Mark, the difference that the awkwardness that the club will have is the fact that do you send them on loan to play the minutes, or do you have them around the squad more? Because the squad's so fucking good that it's still as good as him getting minutes elsewhere. Because if he's dominating in our training, both of them, Trey and Rio, they're not going to be far off. I think Liverpool will want to be the ones to develop these two. They put a lot of time in, they put a lot of effort getting these kids, at the club. And I think they may be the ones that want to develop them because you're putting a risk in someone else, then, aren't you? As soon as you send them out on loan. But you know what? We'll wrap it up here. It's been a good show that we've gone through as much as. Look, as we've said to everyone, if you haven't liked and subscribed, do it. And if you've got any questions, you can always fire it to us on Twitter. It's my Twitter there, Rick's Twitter's there, and Marty's. For the next show, I'll make sure Mark puts his Twitter in his name. Your fucking name's there, isn't it? Instead, I don't know your Twitter name off the top of my head. But if you got any questions as well, put them in the comments once the show's over, because we'll always go back to it. Because as I say, it's good to have the comments coming through to us. As I say, we want to make sure it's a good watch for you. We'll always have a laugh and end up arguing and fucking chatting shit along the way. So it's a no old barred podcast. That's probably what it should have been called, to be fair. But look, if you haven't already, smash the like and subscribe. We'll be back soon, and if there's any news, we'll put a tweet out and we'll let you know when we come back. Up the fucking Reds.